Hi, this is Nelson Ranch. So it's actually March 1st, Japan time. So I'm actually going to pull the gotcha after this. But before I pull the gotcha, I actually want to talk very briefly. I don't know how briefly it's going to be, but theoretically, very briefly, about the exchange tickets. The exchange tickets that you can, that shows up here. I still haven't used the 1.5 anniversary, but but you can buy them. You can buy them from the here. I bought the 3,000 yen one, but I can still buy this one and this one. I will. I'll buy these two because they're really worth it. But anyway, all right. Exchange tickets. So the 3-star exchange ticket basically is this one here, the 3-star. And you get to exchange any character that you like that's on the list. It's pretty self-explanatory. And I think with the big boost that they gave to many of the characters, I think you should just pull a character that you like. That's my personal sense, right? Just pull a character that you like. But there are other ways to think about it. You could also, you should also definitely not pull a character. You should definitely pull a character that's not in the daily races. Do not pull a character that's in here. If you pull a character in here, you're basically screwing yourself over, I think, because if with just a little bit of patience, you should be able to get any of the characters that's on this list. Well, it depends. I mean, it might be like 300 pieces, in which case it'd be 300 days. That's a year. So if it's 300 pieces, then yes, yeah, go buy the ticket. But if it's not like 300 pieces, and if it's like anywhere like 50 pieces, that's 2 months. I think you can wait 2 months, and you should buy another character that you like, and then that you get 3 characters that you like. Now, the other way to think about it is that you can actually, to buy the character and keep doing the daily races, so that you can actually get your character to 4-star and 5-star easily. But I generally would argue that you should get a character that's not on this list and get a character that you like from the list. Another way to think about this is to get a character that's going to be useful as a parent. So uh, many of us are probably familiar with the championship meeting that we just had and the one before. And we all know that for the short and the mile, um, what's her name? Nishino Flower was very, very useful, right? Where is she? I know she's in here. I don't have her, so that's why I'm gonna go through this list. Where are you? There she is. So Nishino Flower was very, very useful. So you might want to get a character that's useful as a parent. Another character that's useful was, of course, King Halo in the short distance. Mummy Creek was useful in the short distance. In the long distance, Kitasan Black, this version of Kitasan Black and the new version of Kitasan Black are useful. Seigun Sky is an absolute must if you're doing a runner. Um, Everybody gets, Megid Orion, so you don't really need to worry about that. But I'm generally of the opinion that you just get a character you like. Now, if you're really, try to be, very, very efficient, then you might want to get a character that's in the alternate outfit because we haven't had a daily, we haven't had not only a daily, but we haven't even had a legend race of a character in an alternate outfit. So the odds of a character showing up in a legendary race where you can get 80 pieces is very, very low if it's in an alternate outfit. So getting a character in an alternate outfit is a possibility as well. So, an alternate Tamama Cross or alternate anyone. Um, I I kind of want to get Yukino Bijin. The other characters that I want to get are I should have McQueen already, so I'm okay. I mean, I would like to have the swimsuit version of her, but I want Mijiro Bright. I want her, and I want Mijiro Arden. Arden because she'll complete the uh, Cinderella Grey group for me. I have all the characters of Cinderella Grey, except for Arden. And so that's another reason why I might do Bright and Arden, right? But having Nishino Flower does make my life easier, so I might do one character that I like as character and one character that it's useful as a parent. But yeah. Yai no Muteki, Sakura and Chiyono. I don't have Arden. Those are the three that raced in the Japan Derby that year that Oguri debuted. I have Creek, regular Creek, and Mummy Creek. I have what's her name? Uh, uh, Bamboo Memory. I have the autumn version of Inari, so I suppose I could also get like the regular version of Inari, but I'm actually happy with the autumn version. I like the autumn version more. And I've got both Tamago Cross and I've got both Obiri Caps. So Syndra the Gray group is pretty much complete on my end. Oh, and I even have Gold City. I might actually get the other outfit of Gold City. I like Gold City too. But anyway, so there you go. I don't want to talk too much about that. That's relatively short. Just the basic rule of thumb is exchange for a character you like. There really isn't much more to say beyond that. They've beefed up many of the characters. So if it's a 3-star character, they're generally going to be useful. All right. So the more tricky part is the support card exchange tickets. And for the exchange ticket, you can actually get any support card from this list. This is from the 1.5 anniversary, which goes up to here to Nakayama Festa. And this is for the 2nd year anniversary, which goes all the way up to Special Week and Sweep Tosho. There's also this thing called crystals. So you can get a rainbow crystal, and you need 20 of these shards to make one crystal. So I can actually make 2 shards here. And I can make 1 shard and 2 shards very soon for the gold crystals. But these crystals, what they allow you to do is they allow you to you have to get an extra card of a card that you already have. Now, which is better? Both have its pros and cons. They're both equally good. It's just that as of right now, there's only one way to get these, and that's from doing the various events and from the shops. So there is that aspect. For the support cards, you can only buy them, or if there's a 3rd mission or a 4th mission or whatever, you can actually get it from a mission. So you might actually get 2 of these tickets by buying them, and you might actually get a 3rd ticket, which case that's actually 3 cards that you can get, and that's actually pretty big. So there's no reason why you wouldn't, like, if you're willing to pay money, there's no reason why this is not the moment to put money in. These are the things that you want to pay for, because it takes literally 60,000 yen to get to the ceiling if you do it normally. It takes 60,000 yen because it costs 10,000 yen to buy 5,000 jewels, and you need 30,000 jewels to pull 200 times. And 200 pulls is 1 ceiling. So instead of getting something for 60,000 yen, you can get something for 1/6 the price. You can get something for 3,000 yen for $30, and that's even better. So it's really a no-brainer not to get the $30 one if you have a credit card and you're willing to pay. If you're not willing to pay, then it's a different story. You just have to basically play for free, but that's okay. I mean, I have a lot of respect for people who do that. You need a lot of patience, I think, to do that. I don't have that much patience. All right. So generally accepted thing is that support cards increase in value when they go to, or support cards begin to really start acting fully like as it should when they get to level 45 or 3 limit breaks, right? 3 LB. And I have special week here as an example. Special week from 0 to 1 to 3 to 4. And this is Grandmasters and this is Grand Live here. And you can sort of see how the stats change, right? Going from 0 to 1, there really isn't much change, although guts bumps there. But then, the big boost comes to stamina when you actually get 3. When you go from 3 to 4, you only get a boost of 1. Now, compare, by the way, to oops, the greatest stam card that exists in the game so far, which is Super Creek. And, you can sort of see why everybody says Super Creek is still the best stamina card. But yeah, but this is basically how it works. You get a bump when you're in the 1st limit break, and you get a big bump when you're in the 3rd limit break to get close to 4. So some cards really do need to be at max level 50. Others, mostly they can you can use them at level 45. Um, so if you can get three of these tickets, one of the things you can do is you can actually get three cards and use one jewel, rainbow jewel, to actually make it into a level 45 card. So if you put everything into one card, you can do that. And so, you know, it makes a lot of people think about what they want to do. And that's why I want to talk about it. Okay. So right now for speed cards, basically everybody agrees that Kitasan Black and Maruzensky are still very, very useful. I personally think that any card with an acceleration skill like Silent Suzuka and Bakushingo, and any speed card that has a recovery component like Mayano Top Gun or Rob Roy or Marvelous Sunday are all very, very useful cards to have. Right? Stamina cards, basically, if they have a recovery component like Super Creek, or if they have an acceleration component like Symbolic Chryses or Special Week, then they're also very useful. They're useful primarily for their skills, but in the case of Special Week, they're useful because they just give you like, a huge boost to stats. The same applies for Kitasan Black and Marzensky, by the way. They give a boost to stats. Not they're important also for their skills, but it's a combination of the skills and stats that's important for these three cards. Other cards, it's really just the skills or just the stats. It's usually one or the other. It's very rare to find a card that gives you both the skills and the stat that's really, really good. So for the power card, if you are a runner, you might want to get the Smart Falcon card. If you are a leader, you might want to get the Daiwa Scarlet card or the Daich. You might want to get the Daiwa Scarlet card. And if you're a betweener or a chaser, you might want the Daich Ruby card. And for recovery skills, Rice Shower and Vodka have both been beefed, so you can actually get the Rice Shower and the Vodka cards for recovery skills. Vodka, by the way, is also a card that will boost your power tremendously. So Vodka is a card that's very, very strong power-wise and gives a very powerful skill. Rice Shower is a power card that actually boosts your stamina. So Rice Shower is also a card that's also good stat-wise and also good skill-wise. For the Guts card, the best card is Ines Fusion. Ines Fusion gives you a huge boost to Guts and speed as well. And it also has a gold recovery skill for runners. For acceleration, you get winning ticket for betweeners, and you get KS Miracle for leaders. And in terms of boosting stats, not in guts, but in speed and power, Twin Turbo is also a candidate to think about for guts cards. For intelligence cards, there's actually a whole bunch, but probably the most important intelligence card is the one that's right now, the banner card. Mejiro Ramon. Mejiro Ramon, Lamone rather, is a card that basically is going to give you not just a useful skill. This is a very useful skill for the mile and mid distance, but she's also a card that gives you a huge boost to stats. So she's a very, very powerful card. In fact, Lamone is the best card in the game as an intelligence card. It has displaced Fine Motion. Fine Motion used to be the best card, now it's the second best card. Mr. CB, what is it? Tokai Teo, Oguri Cap, these were also, used to be the second best cards. Now they're like third best cards. And then you got cards that give you acceleration skills. So Oguri Cap is a card that gives you a good boost to stats, and it has an acceleration component at the very for mid distances. Yukino Vision is a card that gives terrible stats, but it's actually good in terms of a powerful, powerful skill. Nonstop Girl. Serious Symboli, Nice Nature, Sweep Tosho, these all give acceleration skills. They're all decent in boosting stats. Although Sweep Tosho I think is pretty weak. Sweep Tosho is pretty weak in boosting stats. But Serious Symboli and Nice Nature actually will boost your stats well. So these are cards that you might want to invest in. For the friend and group cards in Grand Masters, it's the throne card. That's basically the fad of the day. I thought about actually putting into the throne card. I may not actually. The other card is, of course, Light Hello. Light Hello is the card that was used in Grand Live. It was absolutely a critical card that needed. Um, So if you plan on going back to Grand Live and you don't have Light Hello, you could use your exchange ticket to just get Light Hello and train in Grand Live again. Because if you're training a runner or a leader, Grand Live is actually still quite good, I think. So there you go. All right. So why am I putting these cards? I'm saying that these cards are probably important, and the acceleration skills are pretty important because the gimmick save a leg is simply not effective enough to matter. It's just not that big. It doesn't really matter that much. And so if you just stack acceleration skills like before, it's going to do its job. And even if a person has save a leg function, if they don't you know proc the acceleration skill, you're still going to win. So, acceleration skills are key. They still remain key, which means you want at least two acceleration skills and possibly even three acceleration skills, right? Because you don't know if all three are going to proc, right? The reason why you want three is because you're hoping that two out of the three proc. If you have only two acceleration skills, then you're just hoping that two proc at once. And that's actually harder. But if you have three, two out of three procking is more likely to happen. So that's why, three. Um, so when you think about it this way, then you get this, interesting problem of, acceleration skills in the short distance, mile, mid distance, long for each of the four types: runners, leaders, betweeners, chasers. And I'll go through this very, very quickly. But for runners, you're going to want Bakushingo. In fact, you're going to want Bakushingo for short distance for every single type. And for runners, you may want Suzuka. In the previous short distance, you didn't need it. And you might want Smart Falcon. The reason why you might want Smart Falcon is because Smart Falcon gives Jigatame and this new skill, Ninoya, which was recently boosted. Right? Ninoya was recently boosted, and it actually gives you acceleration at the tail end. So, you might want to use Smart Falcon. For leaders, Daiwa Scarlet or Chaos Miracle, and Yukino Bijin or for Nonstop Girl. I don't think you want to use Stamina Super Creek if you're going to plan to, train for a short distance. It's like, why would you want to boost stamina? It makes no sense. For betweeners and chasers, obviously Daichi Ruby is utterly key. For chasers, it's not nice nature, but sweep Tosho that you need, and maybe Yukino Bijin and Bakushingo. And for betweeners, it's Daichi Ruby and nice nature or winning ticket, and maybe Yukino Bijin or Bakushingo. So you got to pick three out of these. So what you notice very quickly is that these acceleration skills, a lot of them are actually intelligence cards. And the banner card is the best intelligence card in the game right now, Meguro Ramon. So if you choose Meguro Ramon, and this is not just in the short, but it applies to the mile because the mile is basically the same as short, except you don't need Bakushingo. And for mid distance and long distance, you get the same situation where Meguro Ramon is gonna be sticking around at mid distance because her skill is very good at mid distance. This is a very powerful skill. So you want to use Measure Room, which means you only have one slot left, right? You only have one slot left for intelligence because the card combination of the various decks when you play Grand Live or Grand Masters is pretty much the same, right? Um, Basically, the format, I actually going to skip this part here. The format for Grand Live and Grand Masters is going to be 2 to 3 speed cards, 2 intelligence card, 1 friend card. In Grand Live, it's obviously Light Hello, and Grand Masters is the phone card. And if you don't use 2 speed cards, you could have 1 card that's a power or guts card. So you only have 2 spots for intelligence. Now, in Grand Live, it was actually more closely 3 speed, 2 intelligence, and 1 Light Hello if you didn't have any bonus to speed. And even if you did have a bonus to speed, if it was like 10%, you might still do 3 speed, 2 intelligence, and Light Hello. Which I think is why in Grand Live they only did the 2500 long. They never did the 3000 long in the Grand Live because they knew that it was going to be tough to actually increase stamina in that one. In Grand Masters, it's going to be something similar. It's 2 speed, 2 int, throne plus 1 card, or 3 speed, 2 int, throne, and 1 card, or it's going to be 1 speed, 3 guts, and 2 int. or three guts, two int, and one throne. It's going to be this format where it's either going to be a speed intelligence build or a guts build. And in either case, the maximum number of speed cards you can use in all three cases is basically two. And one is going to be Lamone. So there's only two slots for in cards, and one slot is for Lamone. We're kind of stuck, right? And if you already have a card like Fine Motion, you might want to use Lamone and Fine Motion, but what you realize is you need the acceleration skills. So if it's short distance and you're doing anybody that's a chaser, you want Sweep Tosho. So you do Lamone and Sweep Tosho, and you got Dice Ruby. And if you are a leader, then you're doing, Lamone and Nice Nature. And sorry, if you're doing a betweener, you're doing Lamone, Nice Nature, and Dice Ruby. And if you're a leader, then you're doing, Chaos Miracle or Daiwa Scarlet, and Lamone, and maybe even Yukino for the nonstop girl. But uh, you know, the options get immediately limited, right? Now the good news is that despite the fact that the cards are where is it? Uh, Here. The good news is that you don't have to max out all the acceleration cards that was listed here. Uh, Cards like Yukino Bijin, Smart Falcon, Dice Ruby, Chaos Miracle, and Daiwa Scarlet can all be used at level 35. So this is right now Ninoya, right? This is Smart Falcon. So where the heck is the? Oh, I know what happened. I need to go back. Here it is. So did I skip past it? Yes, I skipped past it. So if I do Daiwa Scarlet here, do 4 versions of Daiwa Scarlet, and start with level 30, level 35, level 45, and level 50. Here's what you get. Boost to power, that's from 23 to 24 to 25. And you go from 23 to 24, and then from 1, 2, 3, it's 24 to 24, and then finally when you get to max, it's 25, but it's still only 24 and 25, and the stamina doesn't change. So Daiwa Scarlet is pretty much usable at level 35 with just one limit break, right? And the same is going to apply for Daichi Ruby as well. If you do Ruby, you'll see the same thing. So um, because you're getting at the very least 2 tickets if you're willing to pay money, even if you have 0 copy of Ruby right now, it might actually make sense to invest in Ruby and just get the level 35 Ruby, one limit break Ruby. And then that way, if you ever want to do a betweener or a chaser in the mile or the short distance, you don't have to borrow Ruby, right? And you can actually borrow a fully strong, card, probably like level 50 Sweep Tosho, 4 limit break Sweep Tosho, or a fully strong, different card or whatever. Um, and so, if you actually stop for a moment and think about it, the possibilities are quite big about what cars you want to get. And it's all fundamentally going to depend on what kind of cards you have. And right now, because I actually don't have Daichi Ruby, I'm actually thinking about using 2 cards to get Daichi Ruby to this and just leaving it at that. And then if I get a, you know, and I've got that, 1.5 anniversary card, and I'll use that 1.5 anniversary card on a card from like way before that I can just, bump up to, uh, uh, what do you call it? 1, right? So this is actually all power, but we can do guts. Um, this is intelligence. Sorry, we can do guts. And unfortunately, KS Miracle is actually not on the list of cards that you can exchange because it happened after a certain period of time. Here it is. Chaos Miracle is too recent, so you can't actually exchange Chaos Miracle. But if you have Chaos Miracle, then going from 0 to 1 to 3 to 4, if you actually look at it, you also see that one is good enough, right? The old card of winning ticket, I think, is in a similar boat. I think that's what somebody said. I'm not sure about this one. But I didn't look this one up. But yeah, it's in a similar boat. So when you go from 0 to 1, it has that huge boost of guts 23, and then the power increases when you get to 3. So you ideally want to use 3, but it's still usable at 1 because what you really want from these cards is the skill. All right. Whereas for the intelligence cards like Lamone and others, you do want them to be fully maxed out, except for maybe Yukino Bijin. That's the one card where you don't care that much about being maxed out. Uh, Heck, you can probably even use Yukino Bijin as level 30. But yeah. Uh, so I just wanted to say that you want to actually think about this. For long distance, it's actually a different story. For long distance, you actually want Symbole Chryses. Chryses is a stamina card that's actually pretty awful in terms of raising your stats, but it gives the skill that's utterly and totally necessary for betweeners. And so you do want to have probably a fully maxed out Chryses, because if you actually look at the way it jumps, it's 16 to, sorry, it's 19 to 20 to 20 to 21. So I suppose you can actually even do one limit break Chryses. So I'm just going to change this one. Just compare Symbolic Chryses with Super Creek. Stamina 25, stamina 21. That's a huge difference. What you want to increase with the stamina cards are stamina, right? I mean, Chryses increases your guts. I was like, I want to increase my stamina, and it doesn't increase the stamina as much. So even at fully buffed, uh, a welfare card like Majora McQueen is going to beat Chryses. Pretty scary. Um, this one I remember was pretty weak, yeah, right. And this one is, there you go, right. The stamina rice sour welfare card is actually pretty awful. Um, but yeah, so I suppose you could actually even do Chryses as as one. But you want to think about cards that gives you boost in stats versus cards that give you the critical skills that are necessary to win the championship meeting. Like this is if you care about winning championship meetings, by the way. I forgot to mention at the very beginning. I'm just assuming that all my videos, by the way, assuming that you're training for the championship meetings. And in the championship meetings, the critical thing is acceleration. So when you actually think about acceleration, it might actually make sense to invest in a one limit break Symbolic Chryses and borrow Super Creek, or borrow stamina version of what's her name? Special Week. So you get 2 stamina cards, Special Week and Symbolic Chryses, to boost your stamina, and you actually you actually put all your inherits on intelligence, and you only use 1 intelligence card. So there are variants on the thing. So if you're willing to do like a long distance betweener that way, then you could do that, right? But do you want to actually invest to get 1 card that's only going to work for 1 type in the long race? What we have to remember is that basically these things are going to happen in 6-month cycles, and you're guaranteed pretty much to get 1 short and 1 long. But the other 4, including the dirt, is going to be mile or mid distance. It's gonna be like 1 short, 1 long, 1 short, 1 long, and then 4 mile and long, 4 mile and long. So it's going to be 8 mile in long. I mean, sorry, 8 mile in mid. I made a mistake. One short, one long in a 6 month cycle, and 4 mile in mid. Right. So it's going to be one short, 4 mile in mid, one long, and then one short, 4 mile in mile in mid. It's hard to pronounce this right, and one long. So that's literally just two short and four long a year. Two shorts and two long a year, and 8 mile in mid. And if it's 8 mile in mid, then this is a no-brainer. You really do want to get Majida Ramon because her skill is for mile in mid, right? Um, so do you want to put the cards into this, or do you want to put the cards in something else where you get more out of it? You remember that there's a combination of 4 distances and 4 types. So that's what you got to think about, and you want to make sure that your money gives you the most bang. You get the most bang for your buck. So this is over 30 minutes now. I'm going to stop here, but I'm kind of rambling at this point now. But the point that I wanted to get across is that uh, if you're going to spend something on support cards, one possibility is to actually think about getting support cards that don't get you to the max, but actually get you a support card that gets you to level 35, and that's critically important as an acceleration skill that you're going to need. And if you can use it in like a lot of different places, then you can borrow the other card that's really powerful, that you need at full strength. And when you pull the gotchas, eventually, as you get closer to full strength, if you can actually make that card to full strength, then you can, then everything is golden. So there you go. Yeah. So that's it. I talked way too long, and I'll see you guys around. Take it easy. Bye bye.